Okay, so I will start with some terms in functions which are generally asked in interview. So the first thing which we will see is called the function statement. So someone, whenever will ask in interview what is the function statement, so you should be able to explain the function statement. So let's see what is the function statement. So if I write a function like this, console.log a is called. So this is the normal way to create the function. I have written the function, then I have given the name of the function, and then I have put the round bracket and I call something, I put some code of lines inside it. When I create the function like this, it is called the function statement. There is another way to create a function in JavaScript. Let's see what is that. That is called function expression. So we'll see now what is the expression. If I create a variable var b equal to function, so I can create function like this also. I create this function without the name. See, here we have the name a, but here I'm not giving any name, and I'm creating this function and assigning to the variable. Then this function is called, this way of creating the function is called function expression. So if I see type of a, it is a function. This type of a is a function. And if I see type of b, this is also a function. Though this is a variable, but we are attaching the function as a value to b. Now b will behave exactly same as a. Okay, so now we have created two functions. One is the function a like this, and we created another function using the expression. This is called the expression way of creating the function. Now can anyone tell me what will be the difference between these two way of this creating the function?
Sir, before defining and we are mentioning the we are calling before defining we are calling in second method it will give the error.
Okay, let's see that one. So he is saying that in the second way, if we call the function before defining it, it will give error. So for example, okay, let's create a new tab. So here I'll create the function, and before defining the function I will call a, and then I will call b. So what you will see in the first case, what will be the output, and in the second case, what will be the output? Put it in the chat. What will be the output in the first case and second case? Okay, so the first case, since it is a function, all the function will move to the top of the script. So in the first case, we will see a is called. But second is also a function, though it is assigned to variable. So what will be the value of b in this case, in the second case? What will be the value of this line? B is also a function, though it is created in different way. So what will be the B here? Ali is saying undefined. Uday is saying both are undefined. Both means what? We already run A. A, we already seen that function A, even though it is called below, but because of hoisting, function A will be moved to the top. Okay, Anand is saying B only undefined. So this part we already seen. A will work normally. A is called will be called when I use A, when I invoke A. But what happened with the B? Since B is a variable, so B will be moved to the top with the value of undefined. So this function does not mean anything because B is a variable, though it has the value of the function. So B will behave as a variable. So in the second case, B will be B will be undefined. Okay, but when I'm calling undefined as a B function, then it should give some error kind of thing. So we are getting the error. So why we are getting the error? The reason is B is a variable, and since B will be moved to the top, so B will be undefined. So I cannot invoke the B. I cannot invoke the B to the undefined. Okay, that's the reason I'm getting the error. B is not a function. Why I'm getting the error? Because var B will be moved to the top. So its value will be undefined. And then what I'm calling, I'm invoking function to the undefined. I cannot invoke function to the undefined. And that's the reason we are getting error. So we will not get undefined in the second case because B is undefined. Everyone knows. So invoking a B which is undefined, invoking a function which is not defined will give the error. And that's the reason we are getting error in the B case. Is that clear? Why we are getting error in B case? If I only write instead of B function, if I just write console.log of B, then I would have got undefined because I'm not invoking the function. I'm just calling B. So here I will get undefined. But if I'm invoking something which is not defined, then it will give error. And that's the reason first line will not give error, but second line is giving error. So which method is better? Either you will use this or this way, or you will use this way. Which one is better compared to both? So Anand is saying this one. So answer to that is there is nothing like better this or this one. Only thing you have to remember, if you are using this method, you have to call B after defining this, you have to call B after that. But with this method, you can call before that one. So either way, this is not really bad, but only thing is we have to remember that if we have defined like this, we have to call B after defining it. Because in React, we will be creating all the functions like this way only. Since we will be creating this way, so this is not really a bad, but only thing we have to keep in mind that we have to call B after we define this one. It's not really bad. I just asked question which is actually has no answer. It's not a bad thing. Okay, so we have seen the two methods to create the function. And then we have seen the difference between the function statement and expression. Function statement, which is hoisted, and function expression, which is not hoisted, or it is hoisted with the wrong way, so we don't really get what we want. Okay, so that is the difference between the two. Another thing which people ask in interview is, what is function declaration? So function declaration, if they ask what is function, so first question, if they ask function statement, then you have to say function statement is creating the function like this. You have to explain in the whiteboard. Then they will ask what is function expression. So you have to explain function expression means we have to create a variable and we have to assign the function to that variable like this. Then third question, they will ask what is function declaration. So you have to say function declaration is nothing but the function statement. Both are same. So that means function declaration is nothing but this one. So if interview person asks what is the function declaration, you have to say function declaration and function statement both are same. That means to create the function like in this manner. Okay, that is the third question people ask in interview. Let's see what people ask in the fourth question about the function. What are anonymous functions? Okay, we will talk in more detail about the anonymous function, but today I will just give you what you have to answer in the interview, but we will see little more discussion on anonymous. So anonymous function is generally a function without the name. So I create a function without the name. Okay, so I create this function. I will say console.log a anonymous function is called. So this one has no name. Just I create a function. Okay, but if I press enter, it is giving me the error. This is called anonymous function, but I cannot write anonymous function directly without anything. So though this is the anonymous function, but we cannot create it like this way. So to use anonymous function, generally I use like this. I have another function a, and which takes some parameter param1, and here I will say console.log param1 is param1. So I created a function a and I want to pass some parameter. So this parameter can be object, this parameter can be string, this parameter can be number. Whatever you want to pass, you can pass and it will appear here. But I can also pass function here. So if I can say, I can call a, for example, if I call a with 1, so I am getting param1 is 1. I can call a with the name ABC, then it will say param1 is ABC. I can also call a with some function without the name. I will create a one function without a name. So when I pass the function without the name, this function is anonymous function and it can be passed as a parameter in another function. So this is the way, and I can see this function is here. So generally anonymous functions have no name and they are used in passing another function as a parameter. Okay, so anonymous are generally passed as a parameter to another function. That is the purpose of anonymous function. Is it clear? Anonymous function? They have no name. Just remember they have no name. They are used as a parameter to pass in another function. That's it. That is what you have to explain to the interviewer. Okay. So we have seen, so what things we have seen? One is function statement. Second thing we have seen is function expression. Third thing we saw is function declaration. Fourth thing we saw difference between function, statement and expression. Fifth one, we have seen anonymous function. That is with no name. It has no name, can be used as parameter to pass in another function. This is the anonymous function. Next is named function expression. Okay, let's see this one, named function expression. So we have seen the function expression. Now we will see named function expression. So let me first write function expression again. Var b equal to function. So since this b is called function expression because we are assigning function as a value to this b. But with the named function expression, we give name to this also, x, y, z. So what I'm giving? I'm giving name to this function, and I'm also assigning to the another variable. Since I am giving the name to this function, but using as a function expression, so it is called named expression, named function expression. Okay, so now I can call b as it is, however I called before. Since I have nothing, so we are not getting anything. But I cannot call x, y, z because though it is a named x, y, z, I cannot call, but because this is actually passed to b, so only b is created in the memory. This x, y, z is not created in the global scope, and so we cannot call x, y, z function. We can only call b function. Okay, but okay, let me write down this again. I will also write down console.log xyz is xyz. So what I'm doing here, I am creating a named function expression. Since it has had the name here, and it is a function expression because it is assigned to b. So this is called named expression function. And now when I call b, it is calling, b is called here, and in the console.log second line, I'm getting xyz is the function. So this named expression or named function xyz was not accessible outside in the global space. But when I called inside this function, I'm able to see the code of this function. See, I'm able to see the code of this function. But if I call directly xyz, it will say xyz not defined. Because this xyz is not created in the global scope. This xyz, once I created, it is created inside this scope. So I can call inside this function xyz. So if I want to call some recursive thing, that is, I want to call xyz again inside the function, I could have called xyz here. Then it will go recursively. I can call this function. So inside this function, we have this function xyz, but outside, that is in the global space, we don't have this function. But what is the named function expression? Named function expression means a function expression with name. That is what you have to say. Just we can say named function expression is like function expression, but it has name. What name? This one, xyz. Okay, so this is the next thing we did, named function expression. Now next thing which we will see is called, which interview asks, is difference between parameters and arguments. So some say parameters, some say arguments. So what is the difference between parameter and argument? So if I write a function, I have two variables here, a and b, and I can call console.log of a. Okay, I'll give the name to this function c, and I can also call console.log of b. I press enter, and I can call this function with 1 and 2 value. So you will see I'm printing 1 and I'm printing 2 here. So when I create this function, this A and B are called parameters. So I can say param1, param2. So these are called the parameters. Okay, but when I call C with some value, here I have to say that I'm passing arguments. So if I'm passing some value here, that means I will say I'm passing arguments. But when I write a function, here I will say that I'm getting parameters. So here it will be said as a parameters, but where we create it, here we are saying passing arguments. So here we are passing argument A and B to this function, and here we are getting the parameters, parameter 1 and parameter 2. So this is the difference between parameters and arguments. Next question which they ask is, what are first class components? What first class functions? So next is first class functions. Now I create a function A, and I will say I will pass the parameter 1 here, param1, and I will pass here A is called with param and param1. So this is my function A. Now when I call the A, I can pass a string, I can pass my name, maybe I can pass Jack. So it's saying A is called with the param Jack, and I can pass A with some function, anonymous function. So I'm passing some function. Maybe I can write in console.log. Hey. So what I'm passing? We are passing the function in the A. The A is a function already, and we are passing function here as a parameter. So it is saying A is called with the param, then the function code. Now, since the function is passed as a value, this is something we are passing some value. Since function can be passed as a value and function can also be returned from another function. So that means function has multiple purposes. We can do multiple things from the function, and that is why functions in JavaScript are called first class functions. What first class function means? First class function means it can be passed as a parameter like this. It can be returned from the function like this. If I create a function A, I can return a function, I will return a function like this. Here I can say alert returned function. Okay, so I can return a function or I can pass as a parameter. Since it can do multiple things and it works as a value, and that is the reason it is called the first class functions. So ability to use the function as a value is called first class functions. So any programming language where we can use function as a value, there it is called first class functions. So in JavaScript all the functions are first class functions, because in JavaScript we can pass it as a value, that is as a parameter, and we can return the function also. That means it can do multiple things, and that is the reason it is called first class functions. Is that clear? Okay, so whatever I did today, I will ask you now. Let me see. You have to unmute it and you have to answer it. Okay. So before, okay, let's try again. Let me copy this one and I'll put it in some notepad. Okay, so yeah, let me put it here. And then I will put it the named function expression, difference between parameter and argument, and next is first class function. There is more things in functions which we will see later, but these are the common questions asked in the interview. Okay, I'll delete this. So now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so there are eight questions, and I will ask these 8 questions from you. So tell me, what is the function statement? Just unmute yourself and tell me. Anyone?
Declaration of the function.
Who is saying? What is your name?
Raji.
Yeah, so you have to explain. Declaration means what? I will ask declaration also. You will say function statement. That is not the answer. You have to say, how will you write function statement? So give some example.
Function parenthesis, just a declaration. There is no definition inside.
Yeah, that is only called definition, and declaration is one and the same thing. So you have to just say. So when some interview person asks, so you have to show some example that function A, defining a function or declaring a function in this way is called function statement. Okay, A is called. Just give some example like this in interview. Okay, what is the function expression? Maybe you have to explain this thing with example, because there is nothing like I cannot explain the thing many times. That's the reason sometimes you have to give example. Okay, function expression. Anand has written var abc equal to function. So that is the expression. Why it is called expression? Because we are assigning a function as the value to variable A. That is the reason it is called expression. Expression means we are using equal sign. Generally, expression is the equal sign. So once we assign some function as a value to A, and that is the reason function, and that is the reason it is called function expression. What is function declaration? What is function declaration?
Function declaration is same as function statement, which contains function and a function.
Right. So function declaration is a function is the same as function statement, where we create a function like function name, and we define the body. That is called function declaration. What is difference between function statement and expression?
In statement, we can call function before defining, and in expression we can't call function before defining.
Right. So that means function statement can be hoisted, but the function expression cannot be hoisted. What is anonymous function?
Function without name, like function, no name for the function, and then we can write like console.log with some values. Like
right. Right. So simple answer is anonymous function is a function without any name. That's it. What is the named function expression?
Function with particular name and definition inside, like with expression we can use equal to, greater than, less than. So expression value or assignments would be there inside the function.
Yes. Yes. So to define in the simple term, function named function expression is similar to the function expression with the name. So we can give some example like this one. We have to show it in the whiteboard that this is a like function expression, but it has a name. This is the name. That's it. What is difference between parameters and arguments?
When we in function statement we pass the value, this is called the parameter, and we call the function when we pass the value, this is called the argument.
Correct. Correct. When we define the function and we have the values to be passed in the function, at that time it is called parameters. But when we invoke the function, whatever value are passing, that is called arguments. Why JavaScript is called first class functions?
Because function we can pass as a value.
Right.
A function.
Right. So in JavaScript, the functions are called first class functions because they can be used as a value. They can be used in passing inside another function, and they can also be used in returning the function. So function can be also returned from another function. Function can be passed as a parameter to another function. Function can be used as a value, like in the named function expression. Since it can do multiple things, therefore in JavaScript it is called first class functions. So now if you want to study more about the functions, whatever I told you today, I have put the notes here in this URL. You can refer that URL. I will put it in the chat also. I will also put it in the Telegram chat also. Those who have not joined my Telegram channel, I will give you the Telegram channel link so you can join that channel, because whatever I explain here, I generally put it there also. So I will give you the link for that one. So let me put it in the chat. If you have not joined my Telegram channel, then you can join this channel here. So that is all for today. These are the questions which are asked in interview regarding the function. But we will be doing a lot more anonymous function, and we will be doing a lot more first class functions and other things later in the future class. But this is the interview questions which they ask in the functions. So that's all for today. If you have any questions,